Hello, my name is Lisa Elvin Staltari. I am a genealogist and a passionate traveler. This is my channel, Have Roots Will Travel. On this channel, I've been exploring all things genealogy, but for the past year, I've been really focusing on Les Filles du Roi, which has become kind of a project. There are about 700 of them, and we're on episode 127, so you can do the math. But if you're interested in the episodes that I've had prior, have a look at my website, Have Roots Will Travel. I've got them posted there with the links. And then when I post new content, I do a notifications alert on my Facebook page as well. And if you subscribe and click on notifications, you will also get notified. So with that being said, let's get started and get to know episode 127. Who's our fille du roi of this episode? Let's find out. So our fille du roi of this episode, her name is Anne Phillipe. And she was suggested to me by a viewer. And then when I looked in my files, of course, my best friend, this is also one of her great-grandmothers. Let's get to know Anne a little bit better. So Anne was born in 1653 in a town called Nogent-sur-Seine. And it is found in the Grand Est region of France. If you look at the top left, you can see where I've circled it. That is the region of France. Now, where I have located the, I call it the county, but it really in French, they call it le département. It is in the département d'Aube, I'm sorry. And so her small commune, the township, is located in that particular circle on the bottom left. And on here on that bottom right, I have a picture of what it looks like. Doesn't it look so charming? And it was actually around since 859, and it was founded by monks who had their villa here, and their villa of Nogent was here. And the richness of this area is replete with battles and major events. Nogent-sur-Seine became a renowned place for duchesses and queens to build their own castle. The Saint Laurent church, where Marie was probably baptized, dates from the 15th century. I mean, this is just a marvelous, marvelous place. So what made her come to New France? So Anne would travel on Le Prince Maurice. We do not have any evidence that her father or mother had passed. We know that she came with a dowry worth about 300 pounds, and she arrived in Quebec City on July 30th, 1671. Now, who was her groom? So his name was François Baquet de La Montagne. La Montagne means the mountain. Born 1646 in a place called La Montjoie in France, of course. And his parents were Renaud Baquet and Jeanne Montou. So just to give you an idea, like remember where she was born, the Grand Est, where the circle is Nouvelle-Aquitaine. So they're really from totally different parts of France. So he's from Nouvelle-Aquitaine, and which is obviously along the shore. And inside, but in his section, he's kind of inland, and he's in the place called Lot et Garonne. And it's actually named after the rivers Lot and Garonne. It has a population in 2019 of about 300,000 people. And the town or commune where he's from still has a population of about 700. So it's a very, very small place. The church of Saint Louis, where he would have been baptized, dates from the 12th century. And on this side here is a picture of, I mean, this is picture perfect, isn't it? You know, very green and that sort of thing. So that is what the township looks like today. Francois arrived, as so many did before him, with the soldiers, with the Carignan-Salieres regiment. His particular company was called Le Montet, and he arrived on June 30th, 1665. Remember that these soldiers had the ability to either return to France or were given lands or bonuses to stay and populate New France. He obviously chose, because he was there for at least 6 years before Anne would show up. So when she did, he was ready. So they were married November 24th, 1671, and in Quebec City. Let's see where they settled down. So they would settle in a place called La Duranté, which is a seigneury established in 1672 by Governor Frontenac and given to Olivier Morel de la Duranté, who was a captain, had been a captain in the Carignan-Seigneur regiment. So remember, they were married in 1671, so that means they would have been among the very, very first pioneers of La Duranté, and you can count your people as being part of the pioneers. So I've kind of driven you a map of where it is in relationship to between Quebec City. A lot of people want to know like exactly where is it. So here on the upper screen, upper picture, I've kind of put the little Google map on there. And here is the Seigneurie de la Duranté, where it was when it was divided. And then we have a beautiful picture of just what it looks like. It really is Quebec at its finest. And La Duranté sign, just to see. By the way, that 1910, remember, these were all seigneuries. And so during the next centuries, they would establish themselves as towns. So La Duranté as a town proper, if you will, dates from 1910. But you can tell how old it really is. They would have 4 children, but only one of whom would actually have any descendants that I know of. So we have Marie-Anne, who would pass away at the age of 18. We have François, who married Renée Isabelle Guéret and had 10 children, all of whom made it to adulthood. We have Pierre, who passed away at 21. And then we have Joseph, who obviously did not marry and did not have descendants. If one of you is a descendant of these and I haven't been able to find it, please let me know. I love reconnecting the dots, so please let me know. But all I've been able to find so far is François. François would die an early death at 55 on the 10th of April, 1701. At his death, Anne and he would have been married almost 30 years. A remarkable, remarkable achievement nonetheless. He would be buried at Le Duranté Cemetery. About 6 years later, Anne would marry again. She would marry François Marquette, a widower, who had 2 children. They would marry on the 20th of January, 1707. And he was a widower and a neighbor of hers. So I suspect this was for companionship more than financial need. So Anne would die on May 1st, 1715, at the age of 62. She is buried at La Duranté Cemetery along with François. She would only have 12 descendants by 1729. But as you can imagine, that line continued to our viewer hundreds of years later, and to my best friend, who are among many, I'm sure, a testament to Anne's life and her commitment to, being a pioneer and being someone who stood the test of time. I was thrilled to find out that there is a website and there is some information about Les Baquets du Canada, and I've posted the links to that. This upper picture is a farm that is actually owned by a descendant, and then there's a plaque there as well. So it's just remarkable to see that after all these years. So I just love when I find these out. And please, if you're a descendant or have more information about this association, please let me know. Post in the comments below so everyone can share. Here are some resources to further your research into French Canada and Les Filles du Roi. We have Les Filles du Roi organization, which is a membership-driven lineage association that I am a member of and the membership chair. Fabulous website, lots of information. Please think about joining. Then we have Gen Quebec, which is Quebec Genealogical E-Society. Just a really, it's kind of a new kid on the block in a way, but boy, they've got lots of really neat things, webinars and all kinds of interesting resources. So have a look at that. And then we have Nos Origines, which is free and a kind of a group think, if you will. We have Généalogie Québec, which is a paying website. Well worth it if you're knee-deep into genealogy and French Canada. We have Migration, which is a free website, but that I contribute to because it's just phenomenal, the work they do in terms of Les Filles du Roi and the ships and all of that. And then we have a wonderful Facebook group that I'm a member of. Don't really have any direct participation, but I just find that the group is a really warm and very generous, kind-hearted one, you know. So have a look at that if that's something that would interest you. And with that, we end our episode 127, The Life of Fidjoa and Phillipe. Um, it was really a remarkable life in that it had no scandal or major disputes and really peaceful, happy life, despite all the hardships that, you know, living at that time would have been. She was, you know, kind of caught off guard by Francois dying first, and then she was able to get remarried and live out her life in with a companion, and I think that I think that she was an example of a woman of substance, a woman of grace, and someone who truly, truly did what she could with what she had. And I think that she is a woman to be thanked and blessed, and we honor her memory. So thank you, Anne Philippe, for what you did for us. Until I see you on episode 128, au revoir.